give me 3 ways someone can become a standout real estate agent in the changing climate in 2024.
I don't know, I'm trying to do that right now.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
So, but you've probably read more about this than anyone else, or than most. Where do you see the value? Where do you see more value now than you did 6 months ago as being an agent?
Where do I see more value now than I did 6 months ago?
Where can you provide more value to a buyer now than was the case 6 months ago?
Two areas. One kind of what we're talking about, navigating, writing the strongest offer possible, writing an offer that's going to get the seller's attention, and then 2, the financial side, being able to navigate the interest rates being higher and being able to, understand what their loan's going to look like so that they have confidence in the offer that they make. I would say those are the 2 biggest things is, one, writing offers that someone's going to take serious. A seller, can look at it and feel like, okay, this is a buyer that is going to do what they say they're going to do. And I think that's another thing. Maybe I probably don't talk about this enough because it almost comes natural to me. I like picking up the phone and talking to people. Like I text and do all these things, but I'm like the last generation, right? I didn't have a computer in my home growing up. I didn't, until I went to college, I didn't even know what a Mac was, right? So I pick up the phone and that's when my client is going to write an offer, I'm calling the selling agent immediately. Mr. and Mrs., selling agent, I got a buyer here, we're gonna write this offer, can you tell me, is this offer, I don't wanna waste their time, I don't want my client to get their hopes up that they'd fall in love with this one house, because this happens too. This is another tough part of the business, right? They love this house and we don't get that one.
Yeah.
And you got to put them back together.
But you're calling them before the offer is even on paper.
Always calling the agent and saying, hey, we're about to write up an offer, to the extent to which you can tell me, because they may not be able to tell me what I'm going to ask, but to the extent that they feel comfortable telling me, do they have offers? Are they above the list price? What does our offer have to look like to be taken serious, to look strong and look good? And then
you don't think that, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you don't think that a lot of agents are doing that?
I know they don't. I've been at, people just send their offers over, and they don't know how to. A lot of people don't know how to talk to other people. They don't know how to have that type of conversation, or they're afraid to hear no. Look, this is another thing people don't know about the industry, right? This is a big misconception. When I'm representing a buyer, my job is to call that agent and find out what that offer is, if they have any. What's the price? That's my job to ask those questions. It's their job to not answer those questions if they haven't been given written authority to answer them, right? Because the worst thing they can do, right, and when I'm listing a property, it's the same way. When a buyer calls me on a listing and talks to me and breaks, builds a little rapport, we're all human. I'm gonna respect that person just slightly more than the one who just sends me over an offer and texts me, did you get my offer?
It feels vacant.
It feels vacant. It feels like you're not committed to putting this through. And if I'm going to, which we will do, my clients will look. So I'm wearing 2 hats here, but when we're representing the buyer, my job is to ask those questions, and my job is to assure that listing agent that if their client accepts my client's offer, that we will close. That we will close. And, barring there's not Jimmy Hoffa in the walls during our inspection or something crazy happens, right? Like, we're going to do what we say we're going to do. And that's as important to the buyer's representation as it is to my representation. When you represent a buyer, they're an extension of you. How you act, they're going to act. Are there buyers that I won't work with because I don't want that type of personality within for sure, 100%. But at the end of the day, if I sign my name on the dotted line to work with you, I'm representing you, and I'm going to fight to get you everything that we can get you. And that's going to start by having these initial conversations. And again, sellers, agents do not have to answer some of those questions, but a lot of them will. A lot of them don't even realize the rules behind it. Hey, got any offers? And yeah, we got a couple offers. Are they above the list price? What
are they in the ballpark?
Yeah, what do I got to do to make it competitive? Let me know. And sell them on your client.
Yeah.
Sell them on your client. Hey, these guys.
That's got to be more valuable now than ever.
Yeah, 100%. And then do that throughout the entire transaction. It's not just, we got the offer accepted, now we're in bed together, goodbye. It's like, hey, now we're a team. Let's get this through closing. Let's get this done. Because there's going to be things that pop up. The buyer's going to have some challenges. The seller might have an issue. The buyer's loan may get delayed, and we may need to ask for an extension of time and ask for permission to, have that. Mm-hmm. So the more copacetic you can be, the better you can, build that bridge between buyer's agent and seller's agent, the higher probability you have a successful transaction, because anyone can get you into escrow. The good people are going to get you closed. Anybody can write it. Any professional realtor broker out there can write a dang offer. You can YouTube it. I could have Jack do an offer. I put it on YouTube. He could write the thing. It's not writing the offer, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. It's getting you from an offer accepted to you enjoying that home, closing escrow, walking in that house for the first time, having that experience versus it falls out and we lose it, and those things do happen, but there are a lot of ways to avoid that. There's always stuff that's going to happen,
Sure.
Been on both sides of it, but there are things we can do that go the extra mile that it blows my mind that people don't do it, right? It's like it doesn't take that much extra time to make a few phone calls. It doesn't take that much to just reach out. Hey, I'm just checking in. How are we looking on this? Is there anything you need from us? You got any, you don't communicate with them and they start to get a fear, then that ends up being a problem. You communicate with them throughout. And that goes for the other side too. When you're selling a house, you want to make sure as you advise your client, right? It's not up to us to accept those offers for the client, right? We submit them to the client, but they're going to ask us. They rely on us. They're going to, they trust us. They're going to ask. We've seen the offers more than they've, ever seen them. They're going to ask us what to write when we're writing an offer for them, What do we think? And, you want to help them make that decision. You want to be able to have the empathy and the ability to ask those questions, and then ultimately, we're in sales. Selling the agent on accepting my client's offer is a skill. Anyone can do the X's and O's, but selling the escrow officer, selling the appraiser, and again, that can't influence those things, but you can show up at the appraisal for your client. I can bring comps that support our client's offer, right? Those are little things that go a long way because no one does them anymore. Back in 2007, 2006, we were doing it. You could take the appraisers out to lunch and dinner and everything else. You can't do that anymore. Right. Lehman Brothers in 2008 sort of canceled all that out. But and that was a good thing too. That was another change, like the one we had this year. That was a whole nother change that people got all upset about. I've seen 20 years. I've probably seen 3 of these major shifts in the industry. And
But they all seem to have worked out for the best.
They always do.
Yeah.
They always do. You know, what and you make them work out for the best.
Right.
I mean,
right, that's true.
until someone says, you know, you can no longer be a real estate professional and you can't be a broker and you can't help someone buy or sell a house, the changes of the industry, like every industry, you know, if you're in the medical field, I'm sure there's changes. If you're in the financial market, there's changes. You know, if you're coaching, you know, in the NCAAs, there's going to be changes that are outside of your control that you don't like or that you do like, but that shouldn't affect how you operate within. You just adapt and overcome, you know.